Sarvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupada Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Gurudev ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupada Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupada Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj, sorry. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupada Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupada Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Maha-bhagavat Śrīla Gaurasundar Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Anugaurya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadasa Raghunath, Shar Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari, Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Nama Chaya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Raja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Avishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hari Bol, everybody. Let's see who is there. I know Karuna Didi is there, and Ganga Mataji. So far, it's just us three. Hari Bol. Tomorrow's, yeah, so many special days coming up. My God. Lalita Saptami, Radhashtami, Vaman Dwadashi, Jiva Goswami's appearance day, Bhakti Vinod Thakur's appearance day, Haridas Thakur's disappearance day, Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj's disappearance day, Vishwarup Mahotsav. All those are just like one after the other, after the other, after the other. I don't have a plan for Radhashtami yet, though. What I should read from? Maybe Prem Samput. I like reading from that one. That one's really nice. Okay, so we'll continue on with where we've been going through the different verses of Raghunath Das Goswami's Mana Shiksha and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song for each verse. So here, I'll share my screen. And we have a long reading day today. Hopefully I don't go too far over time. So we should actually do this kind of quickly. Where would it be? It'd be in areas, Kirtan and Shloka classes, Festival of Mana Shiksha. There, here it is. This one. Or is it in this one? Uh-oh. No, it's this one. Okay. Asad varta veshya visrija mati sarva swaharani katha mukti vyagra nashinu kila sarvatma gilani api tyaktva lakshmi patirate mito vyomanayanim vraje radha krishna Swarati manido tvam bhajamana. O mind, abandon the prostitute of mundane talk, which plunders the entire treasure of pure wisdom, And certainly never listen to talk of mukti, which is a tigress that devours your very soul. Give up even the attachment to Lakshmipati Sri Narayan, which leads to Vaikuntha. And in Vraj, worship Shri Radha Krishna, who bestow the precious jewel of sublime attachment to them. Whoa, that's really intense green. Okay, so then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song for this fourth verse of Manashiksha is, know that all talk other than talk of Krishna is called asarvarta, and this prostitute of mundane talk is very fearsome. It is very rare for the conditioned soul to attain a pure intelligence fixed on Sri Krishna, and that pure intelligence is stolen away by that prostitute. O mind, listen to what I am telling you. If you so much as hear about the tigress known as mukti, liberation, she will swallow your entire existence. Forsake both mundane talk and talk on liberation. Also, keep far away any attachment to Lakshmipati Narayan, for if that attachment becomes very strong, it will throw you into Vaikuntha and not allow you residence in the land of Vraj. Loving attachment, rati, to Shri Radha Krishna in Vraj is a priceless treasure. Therefore, you should remain forever engaged in service to them. At the feet of Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, this lowly and destitute Bhakti Vinod prays for that attachment. So we'll sing this quickly because we're kind of late. And Hari Bol Champak Didi. Okay. Krishna Varta Vinayano Asad Varta Boli Jano She Vishyayati Bhayankari Shri Krishna Vishayamati Jivera Durlabhayati She Vishyamati Loy Hari Shuno man boli he tomai Mukti amukti name shardulini Tar kata jadi shuni Sarvatma sampati gili khai Shuno man boli he tomai Taru bhaya tyag karo Mukti katha pariharo Lakshmipati rati akho dure She rati prabala hole Paravyame de phele Nahi de vasa vraja pure Nahi deya vasa vrajapure Vraje Radha Krishna Rati Amulya Dhana Dayati Tai tumi bhajo chiradina Rupa Raghunatha Pai Shri Rati Prarthana ye bhakti vinoda din hina ye bhakti vinoda dinahi. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaur Hari Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Amit Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Okay, so now we will do Mangala Charan for Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. Who is trying to call me? But all right. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tar Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ajanulambita Ajanulambita bhujo kanakavadato sankirtanaikapitaro kamalaya Vishwambharo Dvijavaro Yugadharmapalo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya Cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha. Avatirno Sakarunyo Parichinno Sharishvaro Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Dvau Bhrataro Bhaje Sajayati Vishuddha Vikrama Kanakabha Kamalaya Tekshana Varajanu Vilambi Sharbhujo Bahudha Bhaktirasa Bhinartaka Jayati Jayati Deva Krishna Chaitanya Chandro Jayati Jayati Kirtis Tasya Nitya Pavitra Jayati Jayati Bhrityas Tasya Vishveshamurter Jayati Jayati Nrityam Tasya Sarva Priyanam Ādi Śrī Caitanya Priya Goshtir Charane Ashesha Prakare Mor Danda Paraname Tabe Vandam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Maheshwar Navadvipe Avatar Nama Vishwambhar Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshaya Kshiptashtakamadhitaranga Madhe Kripa Mai Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanaravindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Nri Hari Prabhu and Kishore Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Okay. The glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. Ore mura loko shuno Caitanya Mangal Caitanya Mahima Jate Janibe Sakal. Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Ved Vyas. Chaitanya Lila Vyas Vrindavana Das. Vrindavana Das Koilo Chaitanya Mangal. Jahan Rashavane Nashe Sarvaya Mangal. Chaitanya Nitar Jate Janiye Mahima. Jate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhante Sima. Bhagavate Jata Bhakti Siddhante Sar. Lekhiya Cheni Hajani Koriya Udhar. Chaitanya Mangala Shune Jadi Pashandi Javan. Sheho Maha Vaishnava Hoy Tatakhan. Manushera Chite Nare Aiche Granta Dhanya. Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Vakta Shri Caitanya. Vrindavana Dasa Pore Koti Namaskar. Aiche Granta Korite Hotari La Sansar. Narayani Chaitanya Ruchishta Bhajan. Tar Garbe Janmila Shri Dasa Vrindavan. Atar ki Arbhuta Chaitanya Charita Varnan. Jahara Shabane Shuddha Koilo Tribhuvan. Sahaje Vichitra Madhur Chaitanya Vihar. Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Amrite Dar. Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Amrite Dhar. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet, and when they are described by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Ki Jai, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. The Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Sudevi Didi. Okay, so, oops, I forgot to open up the file. Give me a second. Okay. So this chapter began with the wealthy and also pious people, the people who perform religious rituals, all the pranami they'd give, all the donations they'd give to Nimai. And Nimai would give all those excess donations, he'd give them to the poor and distressed persons. He chose, yeah. And then in his house, they very nicely served guests. And especially when the sannyasis, there was sometimes 10 to 20 sannyasis would come and visit, and Lakshmi Priya would very nicely serve them. And Sachi Mata and all of them, the house, they would be very nicely honored. Nimai would sit and honor prasad with them and talk with them. And these sannyasis were actually Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Shukadev, Vyasadeva, and Narad, and so on. They would take the guise of sannyasis. So from early morning, Lakshmi Devi continually engaged in various services in the temple room. She arranged the paraphernalia for worshipping the Lord. She served tulsi. After some time, Nimai Pandit went with the students to earn some wealth in Bangladesh, where he stayed on the banks of the Padmavati River. Overwhelmed by the Lord's ingenious scholarship, innumerable students came to study from him, and within a short time, they mastered various subjects. At this point, the author says, okay, so let's just... While the Lord was residing in Bangladesh, Sri Lakshmi Devi, being unable to tolerate separation from the Lord, left this world from the bank of the Ganga while meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. When the people of Bangladesh heard that the Lord was returning to Navadip, they brought various, and when we read about that, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur says that this whole pastime is way too painful for me, so I can't, it's too painful to write about, so he just ended it there. But we heard Kishore read an excerpt from Chaitanya-Mangal by Lochan Das Thakur, and it went into depth on this very heavy, heart-rending pastime. So then, while the Lord is residing in Bangladesh, when the people of Bangladesh heard that the Lord was returning to Navadvip, they brought various gifts for him. At that time, one pious Brahmin resident of Bangladesh, named Tapan Miśra, who was unable to ascertain the goal of life and the process to achieve it, he received instructions late one night in a dream to approach Narayan in the form of Nimai Pandit, who appeared in the age of Kali to deliver the fallen souls. When Tapan Miśra arrived before the Lord, Śrī Gaurasundar instructed him that the only religious process for the age of Kali was Shri Krishna Nam Sankirtan, which awards all perfection and which is to be followed by all people of all countries at all times. He further instructed Tapan Miśra to give up all duplicity and always chant the 16-word, 32-syllable Maha Mantra with full attention. When Tapan Miśra asked permission to accompany the Lord ordered him to immediately go to Varanasi, and he indicated that they would again meet there and elaborately discuss the goal of life and the process to achieve it. When Tapan Miśra then related the topics of his dream, the Lord forbid him from disclosing these topics to anyone. Thereafter, the Lord returned home from Bangladesh with his wealth, and he offered everything to his mother. Many students accompanied the Lord to Navadvip in order to study from him. Hearing about the disappearance of Lakshmi Devi, the Lord imitated ordinary people by exhibiting grief for a short time, and then he instructed his mother about the temporary nature of this material existence. Okay, so what verse? 127. Okay. Hari Bol, say Shri Mataji. 127. 1 second. Let's just read about Tapan Miśra. Like, okay. After staying in East Bengal for some time, the Lord desired to return home. When the people of East Bengal heard that the Lord was returning home, they brought various gifts and wealth according to their capacity. They happily gave the Lord gold, silver, water pots, asans, colorful blankets, various clothing, and whatever other fine items they had in their homes. Lord Gauranga glanced mercifully at everyone as he accepted their gifts. After taking leave from them, Lord Gauranga happily started for home. Many students came to Navadvip with the Lord to continue studying under him. Meanwhile, a pious swan-like Brahmin named Tapan Miśra arrived there. He was confused about the goal of life and the means for attaining it. Moreover, he could not find anyone to clear his confusion. He silently chanted his Krishna mantra day and night, but since he was not practicing other important limbs of devotional service, he could not achieve peace. He was chanting the mantra, Krishna mantra, but I'm not sure if it's, I'm not sure if he was chanting Harinam Mahamantra, because there's a difference between Krishna mantra and Nam. While disturbed in this way, late one night, the fortunate Brahmin had an auspicious dream. A demigod appeared before the Brahmin Tapan Miśra and began to tell him some confidential topics. O sober Brahmin, please listen. Steady your mind and do not worry. Go to Nimai Pandit. He will explain to you the goal of life and the means for attaining it. He is not an ordinary human being. He is Narayan himself. He is performing his pastimes as a human being to deliver the people of the world. Don't disclose these facts to anyone, for this information is confidential even to the Vedas. If you do, you will be unhappy birth after birth. As the demigod disappeared, the Brahman woke up from his sleep. After seeing the auspicious dream, he began to cry. Recovering from his trance, he exclaims, "What good luck!" Then he immediately left to see the Lord. So that's where we read up to yesterday. One second, I'm just looking at the chat here. Yeah, it's probably, Kishore is saying it's probably Gopal Mantra. Yeah, probably. What's that verse? Krishna Nam something. Ah, God. It tells the difference between Krishna Mantra and the result of Krishna Mantra and Krishna Nam. Pai Premadan. One Krishna Mantra gives samsara mochan, like gives deliverance from this material existence, but Krishna Nam gives you attain Pai Premadan, you attain the wealth of prem. It's from Chaitanya Charitamrita. I forgot. It's a simple verse. I just can't remember it right now. Okay, I'm just checking 1 second. Okay. Boshiya achenjata Śrī Gaurasundar Shishya Gana Sahita Parama Manohar Asya Padila Vipra Prabhura Charane Joda Haste Tandaila Sabara Sadane. 1 second, it's raining right now and it's starting to... I'm getting wet. I just need to move this table forward. Can you just give me 1 second? I need to move something out of the way and then move this further ahead. Okay. There. All right. Okay, I just turned on noise suppression, so hopefully that gets rid of the rain noise. Okay. Okay, so this is verse 127, 128. As the enchanting Śrī Gaurasundar was sitting with his students on the bank of the Padmavati river, Tapan Miśra came there and fell at his feet. He got up before everyone with his hands folded. Vipra bole ami ati dinahina jan, kripa drishte karo mor sangsara mochan. The Brahmana said, I am the most fallen wretch. Please deliver me from this material existence by your merciful glance. Sadhya sadhana tattva kichui na jani, kripa kori ama prati kohiba apani. I am ignorant of the goal of life and the means for attaining it. Therefore, kindly explain this to me. Vishayadi shukamor chitte nahi bhai, kise judai be pran koho dayamai. I do not find any pleasure in material sense enjoyment. Therefore, O merciful Lord, please tell me how I can find relief. প্রভু বলে বিপ্র তোমার ভাগ্যের কি কথা, কৃষ্ণ ভজিবার চাহ সেই সে সর্বথা। The Lord replied, O Brahmana, what can be said about your good fortune? Since you wish to worship Krishna, that is quite sufficient. Gaudiya Bhashya by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. Due to heaps of pious activities accumulated from many lifetimes, one's propensity for serving Krishna is awakened. This is a living entity's only goal of life in all respects. The word sarvata means in all respects. Another meaning for this word is sarvada, which means that which bestows all desired perfection. Ishvara bhajana ati durgama apar, yuga dharma sthapiyache kori parachar. Worship of the Supreme Lord, however, is difficult to achieve. The Lord himself personally teaches the principles of religion for the age. Hari Bol, Nari Hari Prabhu. Are you on an airplane? Wow, that is so neat. You're on your way to India.
Yes, I am. We're not flying yet, but we're just about to.
Wow, that is so
it's
cool.
His birthday.
Really?
It's his birthday.
Wow, happy birthday, Nari Hari Prabhu.
Flying to
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Haribol.
Thank you.
Hari Bol. I hope you have a smooth flight, a smooth journey. Okay, no problem. That's just really interesting.
Thank you so much for
Hari Bol.
Dandavad.
Okay. Oh, and Hari Bol Bhavatarini Mataji. I noticed you before. Hari Bol. Okay. So Gaudiya Bhashya. Wait, what was it? Let's see. Nimai said, worship of the Supreme Lord, however, is difficult to achieve. The Lord himself personally teaches the principles of religion for the age. Okay, commentary. Devotional service to the Lord is an extremely incomprehensible subject. To begin with questions such as, who is the Lord? Who are his servants? These questions often bewilder the conditioned souls. Being maddened with pride, the conditioned souls always consider themselves the supreme, and thus desire profit, adoration, and distinction from others. But those who possess the opposite mood, or who possess non-duplicitous humility, sincere, nishkapat, dainya, and surrender in their hearts, those who possess these things are glorious. Only such pious souls engage in devotional service of the Lord. They neither exhibit any interest in their own sense gratification, nor do they accept worship from others. Persons who are devoid of devotional service and full of anarthas always gratify their senses by always accepting worship from others. In order to liberate these fallen conditioned souls from their excessive anarthas, the Supreme Lord and his devotees preach topics of the Lord from time to time. And as a result, the Yuga Dharma, the religion of the age, is established. Time is generally divided into 4 ages. There's Krita, Satya, Dwapar, Treta, and Kali. In the beginning, when there was no scarcity of simplicity in the hearts of the living entities, it was possible for them to meditate on the Supreme Lord in their hearts. Therefore, this age was known as Krita Yuga. Later on, the performance of sacrifice for the worship of Lord Vishnu, Yogeshwar, was established as a Yuga Dharma. That's sacrifice. That was Treta Yuga. Since 3/4 of religious principles were maintained in this age, it is known as Treta Yuga. Ah, that's interesting because Treta has something to do with 3, so 3/4 maybe. 1/2 of the religious principles were maintained. The temple worship of Lord Vishnu was established as a Yuga Dharma. Because 2/4 of religious principles were followed, the age was called Dwapar Yuga. Oh yeah, because dwa is dwi, right? Anyways, that's like two. Wow, I never thought about that. Thereafter, the 2/4 of religious principles gradually diminished, and only 1/4 remains in the beginning of Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, even the 1/4 principles of religion have begun to diminish. Therefore, there cannot be any means of progress other than congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Jai Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. The only Yuga Dharma for the age of Kali is congregational chantings of the holy names of the Lord. Wherever propagation of Krishna's names and topics of Krishna is lacking, wherever this is lacking, there will be temple ceremonies based on solitary worship devoid of preaching, external performances of sacrifice, and the process of meditation and remembrance, also based on solitary worship. The Supreme Lord Śrī Krishna Chaitanya established the superiority of Nam Sankirtan over the 3 processes of the 3 previous ages. It is to be understood that those who do not accept the glories of Krishna Sankirtan have never heard topics of pure devotional service to the Lord. Chari yuge chari dharma rakikshiti tole swadharma sthapiya prabhu nijasthane chole. The Lord incarnates to establish 4 different religious principles in the 4 different ages, and thereafter he returns to his own abode. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. See, Gaudiya Bhashya. See Ādi-khaṇḍa chapter 2, verse 18. Okay. Okay, sorry. Now, being sent, now we come to verse 136. It looks like there's a note before. It says, being sent by Vasudev, Maharshi Garga, the family priest of the Yadus, came to the house of Nanda Maharaj in Braj. After being properly worshipped by Nanda, in order to fulfill his own desire and the prayer of Nanda Maharaj, he secretly performs the name-giving purificatory rite of the twice born to both Balaram and Krishna. While narrating their glories, he first explains the meaning of the name Balaram, and then explained the meaning of the name Krishna as follows. So, asan varnastrayo hyasya grinato nu yugam tanu shuklo raktas tata pita idanim krishnatam gata. So, Maharshi Garga said, your son Krishna appears as an incarnation in every millennium. In the past, he assumed 3 different colors, white, red, and yellow, and now he has appeared in a blackish color. And then there's a note here. In another Dwapara Yuga, he appeared as Lord Ramachandra in the color of Shuka, a parrot. So Garga Rishi says, all such incarnations have now assembled in Krishna. So what is that yellow color? Let's see. Gaudiya Bhashya. In this way, with a desire to gradually describe the birth of the Supreme Lord, or with a desire to expand the glories of the Supreme Lord according to the Shuchi Kataha Nyaya, or according to the principle that one should first perform the easier activity and later perform the harder one, Garga Muni first described the meaning of the name Balaram, and then, after concealing Krishir Bhu Vachaka Shabda, which means the meaning of the name of Krishna, he awards in this verse the name Krishna. He awards in this verse the name Krishna because he has a beautiful, sweet, blackish complexion. Oh, so he gives the name Krishna in this verse. Interesting. He says, this son, your son, previously appeared in the 3 different ages of Satya, Treta, and Dwapara in the 3 different colors, beginning with white. The word he is used to express certainty or something being well known. He has appeared in the beginning of Kali Yuga just like he had formerly appeared in blackish form. Although from the philosophical point of view, this Satchidananda form and the owner of the form is non-different, and although this blackish form of Krishna is eternal, Garga Muni has spoken in this way in order to conceal this fact. Otherwise, there would be a possibility that people will consider him the Supreme Lord Narayan, who also possesses an eternal blackish form. So he needed to conceal that. Otherwise, this verse can be interpreted in the following way. Your son repeatedly accepts forms of 3 colors beginning with white, but now he has appeared as your son with an enchanting blackish form. Such statements were spoken simply for the pleasure of Sri Nanda Maharaj. In this way, because he is the source of the names and forms of his incarnations, he is manifested as Krishna. This meaning can also be seen. Okay, so that's from Sanatan Goswami's Brihad Vaishnav Toshani. Now we're reading Srila Jiva Goswami's commentary on this verse from the Krama Sandarbha. The Supreme Lord, who has now appeared in the form of this boy, appears in every yuga in one of 3 colors, such as white or red. But now, on account of accepting a body, or on account of incarnating as your son, he is still non-different from Sri Krishna or Sri Narayan. In other words, by his form and qualities, this boy is equal to them. Also, in the following 19th verse, Srimad Bhagavatam 10:19, it will be concluded. He is equal to Narayan in qualities. In this way, his previous behavior is described. Therefore, on account of this sweet form, on account of his eternal supreme attractiveness, the name of Krishna should be understood as his principal name. This is the purport. That was from Krama Sandarbha by Jiva Goswami. Now we're reading a commentary from who? From Jiva Goswami's Laghu Toshani. In this way, with a desire to describe the birth of the Supreme Lord, Garga first revealed the names of Sri Baladev, and thereafter, in this verse, he reveals the names of Sri Krishna. The Supreme Lord, in the form of this boy, who in every yuga repeatedly accepts bodies of 3 colors, such as white, has now taken an enchanting blackish form as your son. The explanation is that due to the independent use of the phrase accepting a body, this action is being described as similar to a mystic feat. In that case, by his accepting the white and other colored forms, the nature of Sri Narayan is revealed, and he is ultimately worshipped in those forms. By worshipping one of the former incarnations, who assume various colors such as white, and who are expansions of Narayan, one achieves similar qualities in color. But now, by worshipping this blackish boy, who is famous as Narayan, one achieves color and qualities similar to his. In the following 19th verse, it will be explained that this boy is equal to Narayan in qualities. In this way, his previous activities were revealed, and the great devotee Sri Nanda was also pleased. Due to being situated on a platform of supreme attractiveness, it should be understood that the name Krishna is his principal name. Therefore, not only in form, but in name also he is Krishna. This meaning is also applicable. The Supreme Lord, who takes different bodies in different yugas, manifests in 3 different colors. Among them, the white incarnations, the red incarnations, the yellow incarnations, and other incarnations that have different symptoms and colors. In other words, those incarnations who appear in other Dwapara yugas and resemble the color of a parrot, all of them have now, at the time of his appearance, merged into the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the blackish form of this boy. Because he has personally appeared after gathering together all of his expansions, he is the original personality of Godhead, Krishna. In other words, because he has transformed all of his expansions into a blackish form, and because he has attracted everyone, his primary name is Krishna. Since within the meaning of the name Krishna, all greatest happiness and all objects are included, the above mentioned explanations are appropriate. Therefore, such a great name is natural for him. Just as all Vedic knowledge is included within the pranava Omkar, all names of Vishnu are included within the name of Krishna, and all forms of Vishnu are included within the form of Krishna. This is reasonable because the names of all Vishnu tattvas are adjectives to the name Krishna, which is a noun. And in this verse of the Ādi-khaṇḍa that states, the sweetest of the sweet and the most auspicious of all auspicious things, the name Krishna is mentioned at the very end. And elsewhere it is stated, O killer of the enemies, among all the names of Vishnu, this name of mine, Krishna, is the principal. Therefore, the first syllable of the name Krishna is also celebrated as the Maha Mantra. That's from Jiva Prabhu's Laghu Toshani. So the first syllable of the name Krishna is also celebrated as the Maha Mantra. Just Kri is the Maha Mantra. That's very interesting, huh? In the Gaurasundar Ashtakam that we're singing every day now, written by Advaita Acharya's son, Achyutananda, I think the second verse is Ha Kri Radheti. He just says that they're calling out Kri. It doesn't say Krishna. Ha Kri Radheti. Something like that. Okay. Verse 137. So Nima is continuing to speak to Tapan Miśra. He says, Kali Yuga Dharma Hoy Nama Sankirtan Chari Yuge Chari Dharma Jiver Karan. The Yuga Dharma for the age of Kali is the congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. The 4 religious principles for the 4 ages are all meant for the deliverance of the conditioned souls. Now there's a note before the next verse. How does the Supreme Lord destroy the great faults of Kali Yuga? In answer to this question from Parikshit, Shukadev describes the one great quality among the great faults of Kali Yuga as follows. This is Caitanya-bhāgavata, verse 133, but he's quoting Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Kriteya dhyayato Vishnum Tretayam yajato makai Dvapare paricharyayam Kalotad harikirtanat. Whatever result was obtained in Satya Yuga by meditating on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dwapar Yuga by serving the Lord's lotus feet, can be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Ataeva Kali Yuge Nama Yagyasar Ar Kono Dharma Koile Nahi Hoy Par. Therefore, the essence of all religious principles in the age of Kali is the sacrifice of chanting the holy names of the Lord. One cannot be delivered by following any other religious principles. Gaudiya Bhashya. There are different processes for achieving the goal of life in the 4 different yugas. While describing the sadhan for Kali Yuga, the performance of sacrifice by chanting the holy names of Krishna has been described. Therefore, the living entities cannot obtain their goal of life by either temple worship, sacrificial performance, or meditation. Foolish people give up the chanting of Krishna's names, and they take shelter of either temporary fruitive activities or mental speculation in the form of pursuing impersonal Brahman. By such activities, they can neither gratify their senses by attaining heaven, nor can they attain liberation from material bondage. Hare Krishna, Shubhananda Prabhu. Once again. Okay. Ratri dina nama loy kaite shuite tahara mahima vede nahi pare dite. The Vedas are unable to fully describe the glories of one who chants the Lord's names day and night, while even eating and sleeping. Yeah, the Vedas are unable to describe the glories of one who chants the Lord's names day and night, those who chant while even eating and sleeping. Gaudiya Bhashya. Those in this world who desire to please the Supreme Lord by constantly chanting the holy names of the Lord while performing their daily activities are glorified by the Vedic literatures as liberated souls, because they are attached to always remembering the Lord. Ordinary, mundane, foolish people who are unable to understand such topics, they say that glorification in the Vedas is not meant for these persons, so they should not constantly chant the holy name of the Lord. In order to open such persons' eyes, which are blinded by the darkness of ignorance, the most merciful author has stated that even the Vedas are unable to properly describe the transcendental glories of a person who is engaged in chanting the holy names of the Lord. The purport is that the Vedas do not consider it proper to reveal the glories of persons who are engaged in chanting the holy names of the Lord, because they are beyond the jurisdiction of ordinary mundane persons' material knowledge. So, if it is said that the Vedas describe subject matters suitable for ordinary foolish materialistic persons, then such persons will understand that the glories of those who are engaged in chanting the holy names of the Lord are beyond the topics of the Vedas. They are extraordinary and situated on a higher platform. Generally, the external purpose of the Vedas is to bring living entities who are forced to enjoy the fruits of their activities to an honest path through rules and regulations. The Vedas have nothing to prescribe or prohibit for those who are constantly engaged in hearing, chanting, and remembering the topics of the Supreme Lord. Yeah, those who are engaged in Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Smaranam, they're beyond the prohibitions of the Vedas. The holy names of the Lord are completely spiritual objects. They are not designations or sounds perceivable by the senses of the enjoyment prone living, there should be a hyphen here. They are not designations or sounds perceivable by the senses of the enjoyment prone living entities of this world. Therefore, one who has taken shelter of the holy names of the Lord, who is the only worshipable object of both animate and inanimate worlds, that person is certainly a supremely liberated soul. It is impossible to evaluate him by worldly standards. 141. Shuno Mishra Kali Yuge Nahi Tapa Jagya Jai Jana Bhaje Krishna Tar Mahabhagya. Please listen, dear Tapan Miśra. There is no other austerity or sacrifice prescribed in this age of Kali. One who worships Krishna is most fortunate. Gaudiya Bhashya. What to speak of mundane methods for achieving the goal of life, such as jnana and karma, performing the meditation of Satya Yuga, performing the sacrifices of Treta Yuga, or performing the temple worship of Dwapara Yuga, cannot bear any fruit in Kali Yuga. Therefore, there is no one more fortunate than one who always worships Lord Hari under the shelter of the holy names, which are non-different from Krishna. 142. Ataeva grihe tumi Krishna bhaja giya kuti nati parihari ekanta hoya. Therefore, go back to your home and worship Lord Krishna with full attention, giving up all duplicity. Gaudiya Bhashya. Nimai says, O Tapan Miśra, serve Krishna while remaining a householder. The prefix ku refers to prohibited activities, and the syllable na has the same meaning. The cheating propensity is also known as kuti nati. In other words, if one gives up the improper desire to cultivate sadhans that bestow the four deceitful objects of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha as the goal of life, and takes undeviating shelter of the holy names of Krishna, then he can awaken love for Krishna. Sense enjoyers, fruitive workers, yogis, and mental speculators do not endeavor to obtain love for Krishna. They are busy gratifying their own temporary senses. By such activities, however, they do not actually achieve any eternal benefit. If such insignificant desires are prominent in one's heart, then the taste for chanting the names of Krishna will not awaken. Oh, this is a very famous verse. I've seen this many times. 143. Nimai continues. Sadhya sadhana tattva jai kichu shakal, Hari nama sankirtane milibe shakal. By congregationally chanting the holy names, you will achieve everything, including the goal of life and the means for attaining it. Everything is contained within Harinam. It is the goal. Harinam contains the goal, and it is the process. It's the sadhya and it's the sadhan. Gaudiya Bhashya. Love for Krishna is the sadhya, and congregational chanting the names of Krishna is the sadhan. Any questions that may arise in this regard can be resolved only by chanting the names of Krishna. That's interesting. All the questions can be resolved by chanting names of Krishna. The uselessness of the insignificant desires of the sense enjoyers, the fruit of workers, and mental speculators is easily realized by persons who are under the shelter of the holy names through the process of Sankirtan. Okay, 144. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nameva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranyata. Sorry. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way. 3 times for emphasis. Oh, wow. We come to verse 145 of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Ādi-khaṇḍa, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Translation. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay. 146. E shloka nama boli loy maha mantra, shola nama batrisha akara e tantra. This verse is called the Maha Mantra. It contains 16 holy names of the Lord composed of 32 syllables. Gaudiya Bhashya. These 16 holy names composed of 32 syllables in the form of an address are called the Maha Mantra. According to the process of Pancharatra, this Maha Mantra should be chanted in japa and in loud kirtan. For one who chants this mantra in loud kirtan, the seed of love of God sprouts within his heart by the influence of that loud kirtan. And by the progressive mercy of the holy names, that person soon becomes expert in the science of the goal of life and the process for attaining it. He becomes expert in sadhya and sadhan. But if one's chanting is either mixed with concocted overlapping mellows with rasabhas, or simply for the purpose of musical entertainment, or if one thinks that the holy names should only be chanted in japa and one thus becomes averse to loud kirtan, then he is surely producing offenses rather than love of God. The science of the goal of life and the means for attaining it never manifest in the hearts of those who are determined to commit such offenses. Such offensive rebels against the spiritual masters are tightly bound by the chains of Maya. They continue to be envious of the pure devotees, and instead of attaining auspiciousness, they go to hell forever. Oof, heavy. Sadhite sadhite jabe, premankura habe, sadhya sadhana tattva janiba shetave. If you continually chant this Maha Mantra, then the seed of love of God will sprout in your heart. Then you will understand the goal of life and the process for achieving it. 148. Prabhur Shrimuke Shiksha Shuni Vipravar Puna Puna Pranama Karoye Bahutar. After hearing these instructions from the mouth of the Lord, Tapan Miśra, the best of the Brahmanas, repeatedly offered obeisances to the Lord. Mishra kohe agya hoy, ami shange asi, Prabhu kohe tumi shighra jao Varanasi. Tapan Miśra then said, "Please allow me to live with you." And the Lord replied, "You should immediately go to Varanasi." Gaudiya Bhashya. When Tapan Miśra expressed his desire to accompany the Lord to Sri Mayapur, he was instructed by the Lord to go to Varanasi, where scriptural conclusions averse to the absolute truth are prominent. Yeah, it's full of Mayavadis there, Varanasi. The purport is that there were many Mayavadis under the shelter of speculative knowledge and opposed to the chanting of the holy names of the Lord residing in Varanasi. Later on, when Tapan Miśra will ask the Lord about the topics of sadhya and sadhan, and when the Lord will personally present the scriptural conclusions on sadhya and sadhan, then persons who desire liberation will be delivered from that mentality, and they will obtain the opportunity to serve the Lord without duplicity by hearing these conclusions from the Lord. That is why the Lord sent Tapan Miśra, his own devotee, to reside at Kashi. Tathai amar shange hoibe milan, kohimu shakala tattva sadhya sadhan. I will meet you there and explain to you the truths about the goal of life and the process for attaining it. Eto boli prabhu tare dila alingan, preme pulakita yanga hoilo brahman. The Lord then embraced him, and out of ecstatic love, the hairs of Tapan Miśra stood on end. Paya Vaikuntha Naya Ker Alingan, Parananda Sukha Paila Brahmana Takhon. Tapan Miśra felt spiritual ecstasy after receiving the Lord of Vaikuntha's embrace. Vidaya Shamaye Prabhur Charane Dhoriya Suswapna Vritanta Kohe Gopane Boshiya. At the time of departure, he caught hold of the Lord's feet and confidentially describes the incident of his dream. Shuni Prabhu Kohe Satya Jai Hoy Uchita Ar Kare Na Kohiba Eshab Charita. The Lord smiled and said, "Whatever you have dreamt is true, but do not disclose this to anyone." Puna nishi dila Prabhu sajatna koriya hasiya utila shubha khana lagna paya. The Lord again forbade Tapan Miśra from disclosing accounts of his dream to anyone, and at an auspicious moment he smiled and got up to leave. Gaudiya Bhashya. After conversing with Tapan Miśra, the Lord began his return journey from East Bengal to Navadvip at an auspicious moment. Realizing that an auspicious moment had arrived, the Lord smiled and happily started for home. Heno mate Prabhu Banga Desha Dhanya Kori Neja Grihe Ailen Gauranga Shrihari. In this way, Lord Gauranga purified the land of East Bengal and then returned home. 1 second, I'm just going to check the comments. Forever. Forgot what that was in relation to, though. Oh, and Nri Hari Prabhu Rup Manjari also says happy birthday. And Dandavat Pranam from her and Nitai.
Thank you so much.
Are you in the air right now?
No, we're rolling on the tarmac.
Oh, okay, so you're just about to take off now. Wow, okay. Smooth journey, Prabhu.
Yeah, just about.
Okay.
It's
that's
amazing.
so
I
neat.
can still hear the lecture.
Yeah, that's really neat. Okay, and Hare Krishna Shah Sharma ji.
It's a
Okay.
gift.
Vyavahar Vyavahare arthavritti aneka loya sandhyakale grihe prabhu uttari lagiya. So when the Lord returned home from Bangladesh and acting like an ordinary person, the Lord returned home in the evening with a large load of gifts that he had received. Gaudiya Bhashya. The word vyavahare means following in the footsteps of worldly customs or behavior. After acquiring fame, adoration, respect, and extraordinary wealth, which is needed for purchasing daily requirements, the Lord returns to Navadvip in the evening. From this, one should not understand that he left East Bengal and arrived in Mayapur on the evening of the same day. Rather, it should be understood that the Lord passed a few days on the way. By the word vritti, wealth and other riches should be understood. Refer to verses 111 to 112, which state, "They happily gave the Lord gold, silver, water pots, asans, colorful blankets, various clothing, and whatever other fine items they had in their homes. All these things were brought by the Lord and offered to Mother Shachi. Dandavat koila Prabhu janani charane artavritti shakala dilen tanasthane." Upon arriving home, the Lord offered obeisances at the feet of his mother and then gave her the gifts and wealth. Shekhane Prabhu Shishya Ganer Sahite Chalilen Shigra Ganga Marjana Korite. So after giving those gifts, the Lord and his students immediately went to the Ganga to take bath. Shekhane Gela Ai Korite Randan Antare Dukhita Loya Sarva Parijan. Mother Shachi immediately began to cook, although she and the other family members were all aggrieved. Because Lakshmi Priya's disappearance. Shiksha Guru Prabhu Sarva Ganer Sahite Gangare Hoila Dandavata Bahumate. The Lord is the instructing spiritual master of everyone. He therefore led his students in offering repeated obeisances to the Ganga. Kotokhan janavite kori jol khela snana kori Ganga dekhi grihete aila. After enjoying the beauty of the Ganga and sporting in her waters for some time, the Lord returned home. Tabe Prabhu jato chitta nitya karma kori bhojane boshila giya Gauranga Śrī Hari. The Lord then performed his exemplary daily worship and then sat down to eat. Gaudiya Bhashya. The phrase jato chitta nitya karma is explained as follows. By engaging in their nitya karma, or routine daily activities, the fruit workers generally obtain worldly and heavenly results. But the appropriate activities performed by the Lord in order to awaken realization of the temporary nature of karma khandha in the hearts of the living entities are called yato chitta nitya karma. Santoshe Vaikunthanath bhojana koriya Vishnu griha dware prabhu bosila asiya. After the Lord of Vaikuntha ate with satisfaction, he went and sat at the door of the temple room. Nari Hari Prabhu must have taken off now because he just disappeared. Tabe apta varga ailen sambhashite shabe vediya bosilen chari bhite. At that time, Nimai's family members came and they sat around him to speak with him. They came to bring the sad news. No? Let's see. Sabar sahita prabhu hasya katha range kohilen je mata achila bange range. Okay, so in the company of his family members, while laughing and conversing, the Lord described how he happily spent his days in East Bengal. Bangladeshi Vakya Anu Karana Korea Bangalere Kadarthen Hasiya Hasiya. The Lord burst into laughter as he imitated the pronunciation and speaking of the people in East Bengal. Oh my God, that reminds me of, we have somebody, Brajvasi Maharaj, Brajvasi Babaji Maharaj. And he has really strong Bangladeshi accent. And everybody makes fun of him all the time. Like whenever he speaks, whenever he does Jaidvani, everybody imitates him and laughs and like that. Because Bangladeshi Bengali is, yeah, really funny sounding. Like, I don't know how to do it, but yeah. Chandrasekhar is really good at imitating Bangladeshi Bangla. Okay, Gaudiya Bhashya. The phrase Bangladeshi Vakya Anukaran refers to the words commonly spoken in the villages of East Bengal. By imitating the people of East Bengal, the Lord induced the people of Gauradesh to laugh. And since such words and such language were not used or spoken by people in the capital, the Lord intended to attribute faults on those words and in that language. There are different pronunciations for a word in different provinces, and there are different methods for writing in different provinces. That is why even today, when persons of a particular province hear or speak the language of another province, they generally laugh and joke. Even if you don't know Bengali, you can hear the difference between Bangladeshi Bangla and other Bangla. Dukha rasa hoibek jani aptagan Lakshmir vijay keho na kore kathan. Knowing that the Lord would feel distressed, his relatives did not disclose to him about the disappearance of Lakshmi. Yeah, they're holding back on revealing that sad news. 169. Kotokon thakiya shakal aptagan biday hoiya gelo jar je bhavan. After passing some time with the Lord, the relatives left for their respective homes. Oh wow, nobody said anything to him about it. Boshiya koren Prabhu tambula charvan nana hasya parihasa koren kathan. The Lord laughed and joked as he sat and chewed betel. Shachi Devi antare dukhita hoy ghare kache na aisen putrer kache na aisen putrer gochare. Meanwhile, the grief-stricken Mother Shachi remains out of his sight inside the house. Apani cholila Prabhu janani sammukhe dukhita badana Prabhu janani re dekhe. The Lord then personally went before his mother, and he saw that she was looking morose. Janani re bole Prabhu madhur vachan dukhita tomare mata dekhi ki karan. He then sweetly said to his mother, "Oh mother, I see you are very sad. Please tell me the reason." Kushale ainu ami durdesha hoite kotha tumi mangala koriba bhalo mate. I successfully returned from a distant place, and so you should be happy. Ar toma dekhi ati dukhita vadan satya kaho dekhi mata ihar karan. But on the contrary, I find you are distressed. Please tell me the reason. Shuniya vakya ay adho mukhe kande matra uttar na kore kichu dukhe. Hearing her son's words, Mother Shachi looked at the ground and began to weep. Overcome by grief, she was unable to reply. Prabhu bole mata ami janinu shakal, tomar vadhur kichu bujhi, tomar vadhur kichu bujhi amangal. The Lord said, Dear mother, I know everything. Perhaps your daughter-in-law has met with some misfortune? Tabe shabe kohilen, shunoho pandita, tomar brahmani ganga, paila nishchita. Then everyone replied, Listen, O Pandit, your wife has indeed left this world. Patnir Vijay Shuni Gauranga Shihari Kane Karohila Prabhu Hente Mata Kori. When Lord Gauranga heard about the disappearance of his wife, he bent his head down and remained silent for a while. Priyar Viraha Dukha Koriya Shvikar Tushni hoy rohilen sarva vedasar. The Lord, who is the personification of the Vedas, accepted the misery of separation from his wife and remained silent. Lokanukaran dukha koneka koriya kohite lagila nije dhir chitta hoya. After he lamented as an ordinary man for some time, he began to speak with patience. It says lok anukaran dukkha, so it means imitating the sadness of an ordinary person. Gaudiya Bhashya. Just as an ordinary mundane person feels distressed in separation from his wife, the Lord somewhat imitated such behavior and then exhibited pastimes of patience. Okay, now verse 182, there's an explanation that comes before it. And this is a quote from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, so it's going to explain this quote. One second. By the assistance of Bhrigu, when Maharaj Bali, the king of the demons, dethroned Indra, the king of heaven, and seized his opulences, fame, wealth, and kingdom, Aditi, the mother of the demigods, became overwhelmed with lamentation, and she approached her beloved husband Maharshi Kashyapa. She offered prayers and inquired about possible means of reinstating her sons. In astonishment, Kashyapa speaks the following reply in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 16, verse 19. This should be in the main verse format. One second. Yeah. Kasya ke pati putradya moha eva hi karanam. Who in this material world is the husband, son, or friend of whom? Actually, no one is related with anyone. Nescience alone is the cause of this misunderstanding. Prabhu bole mata dukha bhava ki karane bhavitavya je ache she khandibe kemone. The Lord said, O mother, why are you feeling so sad? Who can check what is destined to happen? Gaudiya Bhashya. The word bhavitavya means sure to happen, inevitable, prescribed, fortune, providence, unforeseen destiny, writing on one's forehead, or the arrangement of providence. By their own desires, the living entities accumulate pious and impious fruits. Avashyam eva bhuktavyam kritam karma subhashubham. A person must enjoy the fruits of his pious and impious activities. These fruits are finished only by enjoying them. Emata kalagati keho karo nahe ataeva samsar anitya vede kohe Ishwarer adhin she shakala sansar samyoga biyoga ke korite pare ar. Such is the current of time. No one is related to anyone else. Therefore, the Vedas declare that this material world is temporary. All universes are under the control of the Supreme Lord. Who other than the Supreme Lord can unite or separate people? Gaudiya Bhashya. Only by the will of the Lord are living entities in this material world separated or united. In other words, they take birth and die. No other hand or authority is involved. The propensities of directing and being directed are present in the living entities and the Supreme Lord. Although the living entities have independence, because their desire for sense gratification is incompatible, they are forced to enjoy its bitter fruit. This unpalatable fruit is limited to the conditioned soul's field of enjoyment. Only on the strength of worshiping the Supreme Lord can the living entities become freed from mundane false ego and the conception of being the doer. Maya, the neglected external energy of the Lord, punishes the living entities for misusing their independence by torturing them with the threefold miseries produced from the three modes of nature. Therefore, in happiness and distress, in good fortune or in bad, everywhere the auspicious hand of the Lord is present. Wow, this is beautiful. In this mood, everyone should give up illusion and turn towards the service of the Supreme Lord. As a result, at some auspicious moment, the necessity of praying for the mercy of the Lord may arise in the minds of living entities. Ataeva je hoilo Ishvara ichai, hoilo she karja ar dukha kenetai. Therefore, whatever has happened by the desire of the Supreme Lord was destined. One second. Yeah, whatever has happened by the desire of the Supreme Lord was destined. Why should you lament? Swamir agrete ganga pai je shukriti tar boro ar ke ba ache bhāgyavati. Who is more fortunate and pious than a woman who leaves her body before her husband dies? E mata prabhu jana nire prabhu dhiya rohilen nija krite apta gana loya. In this way, the Lord pacified his mother and then carried on with his duties in the company of his friends. Shuniya prabhur ati amrita vachan sabar hoilo sarva dukkha vimochan. On hearing the Lord's nectarian words, everyone was relieved of all lamentation. Gaudiya Bhashya. The Lord is Narayan, the master of the spiritual world. He is not subjected to being overcome by ignorance. He is directly Vidya Vadu Jivanam. He is the life of all transcendental knowledge. He is always engaged in relishing scholastic pastimes. Heno mate Vaikunta Nayaka Gorahari Kautuke Achen Vidya Rase Krida Kori. Thus, Śrī Gaurhari, the Lord of Vaikunta, happily enjoyed scholastic pastimes in Navadvip. Śrī Krishna Caitanya Nityananda Chanda Jan Vrindavana Dasa Tochu Padajuge Gan. Accepting Śrī Caitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Thus ends this English translation of the Gaudiya Bhashya commentary on Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Ādi-khaṇḍa chapter 14, entitled The Lord's Travel to East Bengal and the Disappearance of Lakshmi Priya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Gurudev ki Jai, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitya Lila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Shila Gaur Kishoras Babaji Maharaj ki Jai, Nitya Lila Pravishta Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai, Nitya Lila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Rupa Anugoriya Guru Varga ki Jai, Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Shard Goswami Prabhu ki Jai, Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanantari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Jai, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki Jai, Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund ki Jai, Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Devi ki Jai, Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki Jai, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki Jai, Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai, Śrī Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhagavatam ki jai. The Gaudiya Bhashya of Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Kesha Vashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams. Yes, Mataji also offers her Dandavat Pranams. Hi. So, all right. Oh, I'm so much in the habit of just doing Jadwani right away, but I'd like to get Kishore to do Jadwani. I'm spaced out. All right, so tomorrow is a very special day. It is Lalita Saptami, and the day after that is Shri Radhashtami. And I mentioned this already, but then in 5 days from now, on 26 September, will be Vaman Dwadashi and Jiva Goswami's appearance day. The day after that is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day. The day after that is Srila Haridas Thakur's disappearance day, and also the disappearance day of Shri Srimad Bhaktivigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj. Then the day after that is Vishwarup Mahotsav, and also the day that Srila Prabhupada and Srila Param Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivigyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, took sannyas. And so we are going to have a little, yes, Vishwarup sannyas also, of course. Yes, and so we are going to have a break from reading Caitanya-bhāgavata for 9 days? Yeah, for 9 days. After 9 days, we'll continue our reading. But from now on, we're just going to be reading for the next few days, the next 4 days, we're going to just be reading Radharani Katha. There's so much to read, so many different topics. And also maybe if Kishore Prabhu or anybody would like to have a chance to make their own glorification, that's also totally, really nice. And yep, all right.
You guys have Thakurji where you're staying?
Sure. They aren't installed, but we're still. Actually, no, it's just making that.
Oh, okay. Darshan's not possible. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I just seeing your comments here now. You're wondering how they talk in East Bengal, Bangladeshi, Bangla. It's like instead of cha, they say sa. Like there's no cha, it's sa. Bangladeshi Bangla ki rakom ache tumi bolte pare Brajbasi version যেরকম. I was asking Subha, he doesn't want to do it. Ki koriteso ki. Yeah. So all right. That's all for do you have anything that you want to like related to today's reading, or anything you want to say, Kishore or Shubhananda Prabhu or anybody? Bhavatarani Mataji.
I was reminded of something Sheharnam mantra book. Let me just find it.
Mm-hmm.
It'll only take about I hope. Okay, here it is. I hope. Oh man, it's hard to find. Anyway, it was from Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Prabhupada, and he's. No, I want to find the actual thing. Anyhow, sorry.
No worries.
Anyhow, this something in the verse reminded me. What did it say in the verse? Something about Chandalas chanting Harinam. Something about that. Not exactly. Those words weren't used, but no.
Wait, give me a keyword. I can search for it.
It was about the Vedas, and that some people don't want other people to chant Harinam, something like that. Otherwise, they become qualified according to the
Okay.
Vedas.
Here we can search for it. I'm just gonna share my screen for 1 second, and then we can. Such as the current of time. No, it's not that. What keyword should I look? Oops.
Those in this world. What was that? Those in this.
Sorry, no, this is. What's another keyword?
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm sorry, but it was something like that. That in order to get people, that some people they don't want other people to chant Harinam, otherwise they become unqualified. Something like that. And it reminded me of a pastime of this rishi. This rishi had a lot, like really long hair, and he got fed up with his hair, and he thought, "Oh, how to get rid of this hair? How to get rid of this hair?" And so I think he approached someone. I'm not sure if it was Narad Muni or some other rishi. And Narad Muni or the personality told him, "Well, if you want to lose all your hair, it's very easy. You have to accept some food from the home of a Chandala, or a very low class Shudra." And he said, "Okay, no problem." So he found these two Shudras, and he said, I wanna have some food from you." And the Shudras were very happy. "Oh, Sadhu has come, we can serve him." But the Shudras weren't actually Shudras. They're devotees of Vishnu, and they were worshipping Lord Vishnu. And so they gave him some prasadam, and the rishi, he took it, and he got even more hair. He didn't lose his hair. And then he went back to the other rishi, or the other personality, and said, "What happened? I just followed your instruction and I got even more hair. None of my hair fell out." And the personality said, "Arey bhaiya, you went to the homes of two Vaishnavas, not Shudras. If you want to, here, you go over here to this house. Also, and beg for some food there." And he went into the house. Also, and it was the house of a Brahmin. But the Brahmin was really a Shudra. He had married a prostitute, and he was killing animals to feed his family. And so he asked the Brahmin for some food. And then the Brahmin, he had previously fallen down, but he still had like some Brahminical samskars. So when he saw the rishi, the sadhu, and he thought, "Okay, sadhu has come, let me try and serve him." So he asked the sadhu, "What do you want?" "Well, I want some food." And so the Brahmin's wife, the prostitute, made him something, and the rishi or sadhu, he ate it, and all his hair fell out. And then he asked, and then the rishi was looking at the Brahmin, and how fallen he has become. And he was thinking how to help this person. And the Brahmin was asking the rishi, like, "Do you have any suggestions? What should I name my son? I'm gonna have a son soon." And the rishi said, "Yes, you should name him Narayan." And so the Brahmin named his youngest son Narayan. And that Brahmin was Ajamil.
Oh, that's the backstory.
That's the backstory of how
Wow.
Ajamil's boy got his name, Narayan.
Oh, that's so cool. I've never heard that. That's really
Yeah,
neat.
it's written in one Puran. Shukadev
Okay.
Goswami, he says in Srimad Bhagavatam, okay, this Ajamil Katha is a very, very old story. So it's mentioned in one Puran. And then we know the rest. Ajamil, he was on his
Yes.
deathbed and he cried out, "Narayana, Narayana." And four Vishnu Dutas came, and the Yamadutas were trying to get Ajamil, or trying to take him to Narak. and the Vishnuduta stopped them. And then that whole pastime took place.
Yeah.
So
And
that
it's-
reminded me of that. Yeah.
in that pastime of Ajamil, I mean, I quote this all the time. Like you've probably heard me quote it a couple times even already, but that I just really love this commentary that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives on that pastime after the Vishnudutas come, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, why is it that that Ajamil, all he did was chant the name of Narayan, and it was just like Namabhasa, and then he attained perfection. Like, why was it? I mean, of course, he did a little bit more sadhana after that, I think, right? Like he renounced
Yeah.
everything. But still, it was like really quick.
Yeah.
He didn't go through, and like, why is it for us, for like it seems like for everybody else, they have to go through this long, arduous process, you know, through all these different stages. There's this a long path, like there's, you know, sadhu, what is it? Sorry, my brain's Shraddha Sadhu Sangha Bhajana Kriya Nartana Vritti Nishta Ruchi Asakti Bhav Prem. It's like a whole long journey to finally attain Prem. How is it that Ajamil is this able? And he said that, and then Vishwanath Thakur said that for one who does not commit any aparad, then the process is only 2 steps. It's not like Shraddha Sadhu Sangha Bhajana Kriya Nartana Vritti, like all those many steps. It's just 2 steps. And it is Nam Grahan, means taking the holy name, and Vaikuntha Arohan, ascending to Vaikuntha. They could skip everything else, all the different obstacles and all the different things like that. They just have 2 steps. Chant the name, and then you shoot up to Vaikuntha. That's it.
Yeah.
So
Ajamil.
all of our problems, everything, every obstacle in our spiritual life, the whole reason why we're not crying when we chant, everything is only because of aparad. That's how serious aparad is.
Yeah.
It's the root of every problem. Yes. If we could just like not commit aparad, then we'll be doing fine. It's like, yeah. Oh, and Bhavatarani Mataji is asking if she can sing Radha Kripa Kataksha Stavaraj in English with guitars on the 23rd. Sure. Sure, yes. Yes. But you'll have to set up there somehow, if you can have somebody help you with that. Yeah.
I found what I was looking for, or in Gurudev's right now.
Okay. Yes,
But
yes.
before I mentioned that on the same topic of aparad, Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sananda Goswami, when they were after they left everything and they met Mahaprabhu again, they approached Mahaprabhu and praying to him that you've delivered Jaga and Madhai, but we are more sinful than Jaga and Madhai, and after all, Jaga and Madhai were in Navadvip Dham. I just thought that was significant.
Wait, that was Rupa and Sanatan, right?
Rupa and Sanatan, yeah.
Yeah, your
Chaitanya
Guru Maharaj
Charitamrita.
quotes that all the time. I've heard your Guru Maharaj quote that like probably more than 10 times.
Does he? Really?
More than 10 times. Yeah. What is it? I've never even like studied the verse before, but just from hearing it so much, I kind of know it. It's Jagai Madai Hoite Muishe Papishta Purisher Muishe
Purushar
Lagishta.
Lagishta.
Purisher Kita Janme Muishe Lagishta. Something like that.
That's from Krishna's Kaviraj.
Yeah. And so, yeah, your Guru Maharaj quotes that all the time. It's like, you know, there's certain things that you just always go back to and like repeat, like those are one of them. Like, yeah, those verses. And then he had mentioned the point. He'd say, "Is Krishna? Are they speaking a lie? Like, no, they actually felt like this." And like he goes on the topic of what real humility is. Anyways, I have such a bad memory, but I just remember hearing that point. Yeah, Jai Ho.
Jai Guru Maharaj.
Oh, now the offering's finished, so I can show you the Thakurji. So 1 second.
Oh, yay.
Cool. Here.
Jai Ho!
There's little baby
Pranam.
Radharani, and but I don't think they're installed though. They're just, I don't know. But yeah, there's
Sundar, Sundar.
yeah. All right, so I think that's all for now. We're gonna take prasad. They're waiting for me.
Yeah.
And see you all tomorrow.
You still want me to read this?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Read.
Very short.
I didn't realize. I thought you were just reading that one verse. Yeah. Continue on.
Once Srimati Radhika was feeling overwhelming distress due to separation from her beloved Shyam Sundar, and she meditated on meeting him. To remove her fire of separation, she began to chant the Hare Krishna Maha mantra. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata, who is absorbed in the mood of Srimati Radhika, also chanted these names. Thus, Krishna's 16 names consisting of 32 syllables, the Hare Krishna Maha mantra, came from the lotus mouth of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. May this Maha mantra, which makes the entire universe become absorbed in Krishna Prem, be graciously and conspicuously present above all else. Jai Ho, Jai Ho. Let there be complete victory for the Maha mantra.
Wow, beautiful. Jai Ho. Where is that from?
Raghunath Das Goswami. It's in Gurudev's Sri Harinam Maha Mantra book.
Jai. Wow, what a beautiful verse. That's a wonderful note to end on. Thank you. Jai. All right. So I'll see each other tomorrow for Lalita Saptami. I don't have anything planned for tomorrow, so if you know of any special Lalita Katha, of course we'll sing the Lalitashtakam, and I think there's a class by Gurudev on Prabhakti, but then I don't know, maybe we can read about the Krishna getting married, the gopis marrying Krishna to Lalita. There's the story of Lalita swinging with Krishna, getting like Narad Rishi, right? That one. Anyways, if there's any Lalita Katha though that you know of, please share with me and we can read that all tomorrow.
Guru Maharaj mentioned something very interesting about Lalita Devi. Very short.
Okay, so tomorrow maybe you can share that also.
I don't know if I'll be here, but if I am, I will.
Okay. Oh, you might be at another program?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well, if you're not able to be here, then at least send it to me and then I can read it.
It'll be posted. It should be posted on Vishud Chaitanya Vani. It's
Okay.
Guru Maharaj is explaining how one of the reasons for Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's descent was caused by Lalita Devi.
Wow. Okay. I look forward to reading that. Okay. Great. All right, I'm going to end the video now. Jai Shri Radhe. Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Very well.
Jai
See
Shri
you all
Radhe.
tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe.